5 Coronation Street spoilers for next week, 30th June to 2nd July. Number 1. Abby takes drastic action to be rid of Carl for good. Abby and Carl are on the verge of being caught by Kevin, who is about to attend a crucial meeting. Abby has been trying to ignore her brother-in-law's advances since their collision in Freshco's parking lot in April, neither knowing who the other was at the time. She's feeling everything deeply and is really pushing herself to steer clear of Carl and not make a terrible mistake, shares Sally Carmen Duttine. She knows it would lead to nothing but pain and chaos. Carl hasn't hidden his intentions and has continued trying to pursue Abby even as Kevin undergoes treatment for testicular cancer. He's addicted to the rush and danger of it all, Sally explains. The idea of them being discovered just adds to the thrill. Carl is very much someone who lives impulsively and follows his urges. Though the two have nearly shared a kiss several times, Abby has always pulled back, committed to staying loyal to Kevin, and hoping Carl would leave Weatherfield. Next week, Kevin grows wary after seeing a suspicious message from Carl on Abby's phone, indicating Carl is clearly still pursuing her. Meanwhile, Carl continues producing fake MOT certificates using his brother's business to move stolen vehicles. Fed up with the flirtation and fearing exposure, Abby confronts Carl and tells him firmly to stay away, aware that Kevin has read the message. Later on, as Kevin arrives at the garage, Abby points out a car Carl recently serviced, drawing attention to faults in the repair job. But when Kevin checks the CCTV footage for himself, he's shocked to find Abby tampering with the vehicle. She manipulates the car's condition to make it seem like Carl botched the work, all in an effort to push him out, Sally says. She knows she's reached a breaking point. If Carl sticks around, it's only a matter of time before things go too far. So, in her mind, he needs to return to Germany. Abby's sabotage is a last-ditch attempt to protect her relationship and remove Carl from her life once and for all. What will Kevin's next move be? Number 2, Kevin gets a life-changing update. As the week progresses, Kevin is quietly simmering with frustration over everything that's happened, all while both he and Abby are on edge about his upcoming oncology checkup. When a roadside recovery call comes in, Abby is forced to take it, leaving Kevin to head to the hospital alone for his test results. Upon returning to the garage, Abby is furious to find Carl loitering once again, but Carl remains unfazed and confesses he still cares for her, insisting the feeling is mutual. Abby responds sharply, reaffirming her love for Kevin and expressing satisfaction with the life they've created. At the hospital, Kevin waits anxiously to see the consultant, preparing himself mentally for whatever outcome is about to be delivered. Will the update show positive progress in Kevin's treatment, or will the results be worrying? If he's still unwell, she'll have to accept that and commit herself to helping him recover. Sally notes, it's the least she owes him after everything he's done. But if he comes back with a clean bill of health, then that changes the game completely. She might start questioning her future with Kevin and what she truly wants, she adds. Number 3, Bernie stages a family intervention. Elsewhere next week, Brody continues to wrestle with the revelation that Kit is actually his biological father. Still furious at his mum Lou for hiding the truth for over 16 years, Brody has cut all ties with her and found a temporary home thanks to his grandmother Bernie. Bernie urges Brody to try and mend fences with Lou, but he firmly shuts her down, declaring that he no longer considers Lou part of his life. Unwilling to stand by, Bernie decides to take control of the situation. She invites Lou over to determine to give mother and son a chance to talk. Will Brody be willing to hear his mum out? Number 4, Steve looks ahead with Cassie. Meanwhile, now that Steve and Cassie's romance is no longer a secret, Cassie suggests a friendly lunch to introduce herself properly to Steve's close friends Tim and Sally at Speeddale. The meeting starts off awkwardly, with Sally making veiled jabs at Cassie while Tim does his best to smooth things over. Just when the mood begins to stabilize, Steve's ex-wife Tracy unexpectedly appears, threatening to stir up more tension. Tracy has been furious about Steve's new relationship with her old nemesis, and she's retaliated by ramping up her demands in their ongoing divorce, now fighting for half of his share in the taxi business. But as she catches sight of the happy couple, the question is whether she'll be able to keep her temper in check. As the lunch continues, both Sally and Tim start to warm up to Cassie. Could this be the beginning of something positive between them all? Later, Steve confesses to Cassie that he's starting to see a future with her and may be falling in love. Cassie is caught off guard, but how will she respond to such an honest confession? Number 5, Todd uncovers Millie's fabricated story. Millie's underhanded plan to disrupt Todd and Theo's growing relationship appears to be on the verge of exposure next week, as Todd begins to piece together the truth behind her suspicious behavior. For weeks, Millie has been quietly working behind the scenes to drive a wedge between her father and his new partner. Her ultimate goal? To break them apart and reunite her parents, Danielle and Theo, so they can be a family again under one roof. In a desperate move, Millie decided to fake a pregnancy, believing that this bombshell would guilt Theo into focusing solely on her and potentially returning home to support her through the supposed ordeal. Instead, the plan backfired, and Millie ended up staying at number 11 with both her dad and Todd, bringing her into closer contact with the very relationship she wanted to destroy. As the days pass, Todd begins to notice troubling signs in Millie's behavior. His concern escalates when Millie is visibly shaken after learning that Theo is planning to speak with her school teacher about the pregnancy. The panic on her face sets off alarm bells for Todd, who senses that something isn't quite right. Not wanting to cause a scene, Todd chooses to approach Millie privately for a quiet chat. In a gentle but firm manner, he lets her know that he suspects she hasn't been truthful about the pregnancy and urges her to be honest before things spiral any further. After an emotional pause, Millie finally breaks down and admits that she made it all up. The weight of the lie and the pressure to keep up the act had clearly taken its toll. Trying to be understanding rather than confrontational, Todd proposes a way forward. He suggests Millie take another pregnancy test, this time with the idea that it could show the first result was a mistake. He also promises not to tell Theo or Danielle about her confession, providing Millie with some relief and a sense of safety. Later that day, when Theo arrives back home, Millie gathers her courage and tells him that there's something important she needs to talk about. Her nerves are obvious, and the moment is tense. But the question remains, will Millie find the strength to tell Theo the whole truth, or will she fall back on more lies to avoid the consequences? Coronation Street continues to air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is available to stream on ITVX.